Hi guys, welcome back to Changing with the Tides. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the commandments on the love of thy neighbor. And not all of them, by the way, maybe just the first two. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video.
It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day.
Commandments on the love of thy neighbor are just as important as the commandments on the love of God. Maybe even more so because they deal with people we talk to and interact with every day. So, the commandments on the love of thy neighbor are numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think 9's in there too. I can't remember at this moment, but I really believe 9's in there too. Now, if I were to put all of them in one video, that would make for one very lengthy video. So today we're only going to be talking about numbers 4 and 5. And honestly, they're very important. So pay attention. Okay, number 4. What is it? The commandment goes, honor your father and mother. Now, I know from experience that can be very difficult, but just listen up, okay? When I was little, story time. Here you go, story time. Everyone's favorite. No, I'm just kidding. Story time is when I was little, my parents always, they never really let me watch Nickelodeon, certain shows on Nickelodeon all the time. Because, like, if I'm being honest, some of them are just really, like, cringy and, like, gross. And they're fresh, and they're not the nicest, honestly. So growing up, I was never really, I could watch some of the shows, but just, like, certain ones, like SpongeBob SquarePants, and, like, other ones I was never really allowed to watch. And now looking back at that, I fully understand why, because, like, it's just, they're not nice shows. And they're always, like, making fun of people and disrespecting other people, like older people than them, like their parents maybe. Or, for example, in SpongeBob, they're torturing Squidward, whatever his name is. They're always just torturing him, and I don't think that's the nicest. So now it makes sense to me. I mean, obviously, when I was little, I tried to, like, rebel against that rule. But in the long run, it just makes more sense makes sense as to why my parents made that rule and chose that for my brother, sister, and I. And now look at us. I mean, I think we're pretty decent children. I mean, definitely not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like we're turning out pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely have a tendency to fight with my parents a lot. But, I mean, I'm human, and, like, honestly, what person doesn't fight with their parents? So I feel like it's only normal. And at the end of the day, when I'm laying in bed and really, like, struggling with an argument my parents and I just had, or something I said that upset them, or they were trying to help me, and because I didn't speak up, they were helping me not the way I necessarily wanted them to. At the end of the day, when I'm laying in bed and thinking about all those things that happened that day, I try to remember that they just love me and they're trying the best that they can, and they know how to help me and help me be successful with my life. So I love you, Mom and Dad, and this is definitely a shout out to you guys because you put up with a lot from me. So kudos to you. I love you guys. Okay, moving on. It can definitely be easier to be impatient with the ones that we love when they do something wrong, or we do something wrong, or we're trying to be helpful and they don't really take it that way, or whatever it is. It's very easy to be impatient and get frustrated and get defensive, but in the long run, that's not how life goes. And if that other person's just trying to be helpful, for example, i.e. my mom and dad, your mom and dad, whoever's mom and dad, if they're just trying to be helpful, then take it for what it is and don't be defensive. Don't argue back. Just take it for what it is. And try to remember that they're just trying to do what they can to help you. Or you help them. For example, if you get frustrated, if you're trying to show them how to do something on Facebook, or do something, fold the wash maybe, or maybe they're helping you with your wash and they didn't wash it the right way, or they shrunk it, or whatever. Just try to be patient with them, okay? It wasn't intentional. And honestly, those are very little things to get frustrated about. Honestly, I was talking to my grandmother, or was I talking to her, or was she talking to someone else? I don't know. I was hanging out with my grandparents this past weekend, and they were talking about how different problems that were going on in different families in the world in general. And she was saying how that a problem can be very forgivable. It all depends on how you look at that problem. And honestly, that really left a mark, because at the end of the day, yes, a problem is a problem, but if it's a forgivable one and in your mind you just have to say you're sorry, then go out and do that, because at the end of the day, life is short and we have to love the ones we love while we can and give them hugs while we can. So that's my little TED talk for the day, as my mother would say. So moving on to the fifth commandment. What is it? It is you shall not kill. And what video was I doing recently? Oh, it was my new favorite video, my one with sister. So if you go back and rewatch that video with Sister Mary Rose, great video, 10 out of 10 recommend it. She talks a lot about how in the commandments, there's more than one meaning, or the phrase of the commandment is not the bottom line. And the number 5, the fifth commandment, she spoke of how it's her favorite and how it's a very important commandment to her, because obviously you shall not kill, but if that means for physically or spiritually or emotionally. And honestly, that leaves a mark, because at the end of the day, it's very easy to get caught up in the struggles of living with whoever or whatever problem you may have. Honestly, that can be a hard thing to carry, or hard if you're carrying a problem. That can be really hard to deal with on your own. So honestly, speak up and don't let yourself get so stressed out. I should take my own advice. I'm just saying that now. But honestly, it can get really hard to be carrying all this stress, and then when you do let it out, you let it out the wrong way, and then it turns into this huge thing. And that's not the way life goes. That's not how life should be. And no one should have to deal with stress by themselves. So at the end of the day, if you're stressed or overwhelmed, don't hold it in, let it all out, and just don't freak out. Wow, this is really hitting home today. I don't know why, but it is. So love that for me. But at the end of the day, don't kill with your words, okay? Don't take your frustrations and your stress out on other people. It's so not worth it. And it just turns into an argument for you or an argument for them or whatever. And honestly, it's not worth it. So don't do that, okay? Okay. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. And I will see you all next week, okay? Mwah. Bye, guys.